Hey traders, checking into the stock market today. So bulls controlled the morning and then Powell opened his fat mouth and said something to make the market dump. So we're looking at the bears back in control of the short term. I'm going to go over a trade review and how I look to micromanage positions that I'm looking to play on longer term time frames. Let's look at the charts first. So we can see SPY confirming the daily downtrend and breaking the fear low. The low of Friday is definitely notable to us, and we had multiple times today where all of our major sectors, the financial sector, XLF, QQQ, XLV, they were all at the low of the day at the same time, which we know shows full bear control when that's happening. There's no rotation going around, so that was notable. Powell essentially saying that tapering could happen sooner. Market knew it's going to come eventually, but if it's going to happen months sooner, the market is pricing in that potential. A lot of bear volume and a significant drop. So clear daily downtrend, zooming out, still scouting a weekly high or low. Anything above 426.36, we would need a lot more days like today if we were going to be looking for the weekly high or low to be lost from here. Question we have now is how much retracement are we going to see on this drop? At this point, you could make the argument it's still a possible weekly bull flag because it's a 382 retracement. But if it becomes more significant and drops down to a 50% plus retracement, that's when we scout for the equilibrium to become the more likely scenario, and we would scout a lower high on the next bounce. So keeping an eye out for a weekly high or low, first things first. One thing I am watching overnight tonight, if we see green overnight, S&P 500 futures chart, 4-hour falling wedge. And I've had a good bit of success with longer term falling wedges during market consolidation in the recent market environment, both in crypto and in stocks. And just a quick example here, our monthly high or low, I believe this was our monthly high or low, we were definitely watching very similar setup, something like that. So, are we about to see the same thing? Maybe. We'll keep an eye on it. But the bulls will have to control overnight tonight. It's one reason I am swinging a short, and I wasn't entirely comfortable doing so, but it's more of a hedge than an all-out short. Little bit of a bounce taking place here after hours. If we confirm a 15-minute trend change from here, we're going to be bouncing off this downtrend support line, and this is going to be a very valid pattern for me for the rest of the week, if that does take shape. QQQ, all about the low of Friday, 389.77. If that level breaks, this head and shoulders confirms, and that would be very notable. Apple is doing everything it can to try and save the bulls. You would never know it was a red day. You would be hard-pressed to find a day where Apple was this green and doing the exact opposite of the entire market. Very impressive day for Apple. All-time highs on the table, and that's definitely helping QQQ hold its daily support, but it will be notable to us if that support level of 389.77 breaks. So this morning started off with the same thing we've been seeing, with bulls controlling the regular trading volume once the bell rings, and then Powell leading to a big shift taking place. So we're going to be watching now. Are we about to see QQQ confirm a daily downtrend while our more beat up sectors, XLF and IWM, start to see a bounce? Or is everything going to drop together like it did today on that initial fear reaction? Those are the questions that I'm looking to observe and get the answer to tomorrow. So Apple bulls all-time high in play, daily uptrend strong. Semiconductors, same potential head and shoulders that QQQ has, with our daily lower high potentially shaping up. And if we drop down and break 297.89, daily downtrend confirms, and we zoom out and scout a weekly high or low with lots of space for it to form. So for both QQQ and SMH, certainly not the end of the world if weekly consolidation starts. Tons of space for the higher low to form. We would need to drop over 10% on QQQ from here to lose that support level. But again, it's the size of the retracement. Is it a bull flag? Or is retracement more significant? And again, oftentimes that EMA 12 support will be your visual guide, where rather than having to measure a 382 retracement, you could just say, if EMA 12 holds, it's a potential bull flag. If it's lost, it's a likely equilibrium. Again, one more note, the headline we have not seen yet is new COVID case in US. And overnight, there was one in Japan that made the headlines and had a potential impact to overnight weakness that we saw last night. But again, until that headline happens, for me, that's just an overhanging bearish headline that is extremely likely to happen, and we're just waiting for it. Again, I don't think it'll be a huge reaction, but I do think it will have a short-term impact. Watching the EV names, we know they have been stronger as well. And again, I'm just organizing how I'm doing these videos now with the stronger names in sectors and the weaker names in sectors. So EV on the stronger side, but potentially shaping up for a daily lower high. And if the lows of today break tomorrow, a new daily lower high is set and we just keep on tightening up. And we're then looking for a higher low compared to 1062 on Tesla. But I would love for this pattern to get the tighter the better. For when it breaks, we will then look for more significant follow through. So Tesla's got one, LCID, same deal, very tight on the daily. And even now NVDA is doing the same thing, tightening up. So watching these EV names, XPEV is a lead EV bull with a new higher high, but Tesla, LCID, and IRBN, keeping an eye out to see if the bulls can confirm the first daily trend change ever for a weekly high or low. But essentially, keeping my focus to LCID and Tesla. I like to find one or two names per sector because I'm watching so many sectors and markets that allows me to have attention spread out. Financial sector lead bears, big bear volume, daily downtrend continues, weekly uptrend still intact, but no longer a bull flag. Retracement size is notable. 3603 is support, but it's a 50% pullback or so. So next time we do bounce, we'll be watching for the potential of a weekly lower high. That being said, we've seen a 50% retracement before. It just headed to a higher high. But it is certainly a notable 6-week pullback. Most weekly consolidation we've seen since COVID fear. When was the last time we saw 6 red weeks in a row? I got to take that back. That's not a red week in there. Bears in full control. Hourly downtrend is our guide. Daily downtrend will be our guide as well. We're not even daily oversold, so it can always get uglier. We're certainly not anywhere on anything. We're not anywhere near historical RSI bounce levels, which keeps me from getting too aggressive buying the dips. But again, I am watching that S&P 500 falling wedge. IWM bounce at the end of the day was a bit stronger than QQQ. That's the first indication for me to be watching for the potential that the weaker names bounce while QQQ potentially sees weakness. So again, look at that bounce on IWM, and yes, we got an upper wick on that last hourly candle, but a decent bounce and over 50% retracement back towards the high of the day. And you compare that to QQQ, lower high, and we dropped down. The bulls defended it in extended hours here, but dropped down, hourly lower high was set. Just a tiny clue, nothing for me to act on, just a little observation that says pay attention to this tomorrow and see if it keeps happening. Because again, I'm always looking for relative strength. Who's stronger, who's weaker, where's a bullish correlation, where is a bearish correlation. So IWM bulls have to confirm an hourly trend change. If they do, we zoom out and scout anything under 226.75 as a daily lower high. The more I'm looking at these charts, the more it certainly looks like the S&P 500 is going to hold this 4-hour downtrending support, at least this test. With IWM's bounce, XBI, this is the first time XBI has been a lead bear and had a bearish correlation for weeks. Today is the first time in a while where it has clearly stood out as a lead bounce bull. 100% recovery back to the high of the day and a strong close. We haven't changed the hourly trend yet. A bull is looking for an hourly higher low to make an entry and playing off the low. But if IWM gets a daily bounce going, XBI after today is positioned well to get a daily bounce going as well from oversold conditions. So aggressive bulls are scouting hourly higher low entries on IWM and XBI, but bulls certainly have proving to do on both of those sectors after being lead bears for 3 weeks. So trades that I took today, I started the morning looking bullish in the cryptocurrency space. Ethereum's heading up towards all-time highs. It got within 2.5%. Bitcoin was strong this morning, and I was looking at the crypto plays to be strong. So keeping an eye on Riot more than MARA these days and watching the whole sector. And I was too distracted while live streaming, and I made a poor trade as far as making an entry, just a rushed entry, because I knew I was looking for an entry on the morning, and we started with a big green candle first thing on Riot. And so it was, oh man, did I just miss my entry? That's a very quick 4% move right out of the gate. And so entered on 2-minute consolidation, entered a small position because I knew it was an anti-FOMO rushed position. It wasn't the trade I was looking for. The trade was not coming to me. That alone should be enough not to take the trade. But I felt a little FOMO. I felt a little pressure while live streaming. So made an entry, saw what looked like Bitcoin resistance and hourly consolidation do. So I said, nah, I don't really like that entry. I exited half on the 2-minute bounce and then stopped out of the second half. And then from there, darn, I wish I didn't stop out as we headed back to the high of the day. And then thank goodness I stopped out when we dumped on Powell. So just a small loss there, but I just want to show the shift in my mindset, because as soon as Powell says something and the market reacts with bears taking over, I instantly change my entire game plan on the day. Game plan on the day, scout our lead bulls for bullish entries. And for me, the lead bull sector I chose was the cryptocurrency space, looking for if Ethereum hits all-time highs, if Bitcoin gains some confidence, looking for euphoria to return to the space. And that was quickly derailed. So as soon as that happens, I didn't look at the crypto space much at all for the rest of the day from there. What I did do was go bearish. So I shifted my bias from bullish to bearish. So I looked at SPY. On this 5-minute bounce, I entered SPXS with a game plan where if we confirm the 5-minute trend change and keep this bounce going, I will make a second entry scouting an hourly lower high. We didn't get any bounce follow through. It had a good short entry. We dropped. We bounced 5-minute lower high, or the 15-minute, whatever time frame you're looking at. And then we were right here, and I hedged my SPXS swing position, because when I entered SPXS, I said, I want this to be a swing position. All of our major sectors are at the low of the day at the same time. We are breaking our fear lows. That's enough for me to want bearish exposure. So I then said, well, we're probably going to see an hourly bounce from here. It's shaping up. So I made a little video clip in the middle of the day for ChartGuys members, and I'm just going to stick it on here right now to explain how I traded TQQQ, the leveraged ETF for the Qs, bullish while being in SPXS. And I do this often to micromanage positions, because if I'm sitting here looking at the computer and I know an hourly bounce is going to take place, but I'm in a position that's based on an hourly downtrend, I know I have to sit through that bounce, and I don't like doing that. So this is how I micromanage that situation. Appreciate you watching. Do good things, and we will see you tomorrow. Just want to give a little example of how I micromanage positions a bit. So this is the 1-minute time frame, and we're scouting a 15-minute higher low. This is TQQQ, which is the bullish ETF for QQQ. So I currently am in an SPXS position that I entered on a 5-minute bounce a couple hours ago, and I'm looking to swing that position, and I'm looking to potentially add to it on a hourly lower high if this bounce keeps going. That being said, so that position is on a longer term time frame. That being said, I can micromanage that position. For example, I can make a bullish entry here on TQQQ with very low risk. I can put my stop under the low at this point, make a bullish entry right now. If we drop down and stop me out, that means my SPXS position is continuing to gain value, and I get back a little bit of that profit. But if we bounce and this support level holds and I do not stop out, and we change the trend to get the hourly bounce going, that means that I can completely offset the value that my SPXS swing position loses by taking a very low risk short-term entry on QQQ. So that is one way that I use little day trade levels to micromanage positions that I am intending to be based on longer term timeframes.